When my brother opened the door for me, I could tell he has been crying. Our granddad has passed away, he said. In that moment, I felt like I lost all of my senses. My ears were ringing, my vision was blurry, I couldn't feel anything anymore, except for this stabbing pain in my stomach. Family means everything to me, and ever since I was a child, I was always very close with my grandparents. My grandfather especially was such an inspiration to me. I grew up listening to all of his amazing stories. He was always so creative, so funny, and so caring. Any questions that I had, he would always have the answers to them. I knew I could always go to him. But one day, he had a heart attack. I was so scared. He didn't pass away, but he was in a really deep coma. But even though I was scared, I had hope. The thing is, I was always the happy, joyful, positive little sunlight of faith that was always there to cheer people up. So I passed on my hope to the rest of the family. I told them that he will be fine and that he will live. I was actually assuring them so much that I started to believe it myself. When my grandmother would hold the phone to his ear, she said his blood pressure was so much higher and sometimes his eyes would open up. See? He's going to be okay. One day I came back from my friend's house so happy because we had so much fun that day, and my brother opened the door for me. When he told me, I didn't believe him. No, it's not true. No. My dad held me and told me again, I'm sorry, honey, it's true, he's gone. I felt like the world just came crashing down around me. I ran up to my room, I closed the door, hid under the covers, and I just couldn't stop crying. I didn't understand. How did he die? Wasn't he getting better? Is it my fault? All these questions were spinning in my head. I somehow felt guilty for his death, like it was my fault, like I had lied to my family and made them believe that he would be okay. As months passed after his death, things just kept getting worse and worse. Those thoughts and questions I had, they were all coming to life in my head. Thoughts like, you're useless, it's all your fault, they hate you, just kept repeating and repeating around in my head. I just couldn't get over his death. I just couldn't understand it. Even after a year, everything felt like a disaster. I was always so anxious about everything, and I just was constantly feeling so stressed. I couldn't sleep because of all the dark thoughts in my head, and sometimes everything would just feel so numb. At that point, I had no more self-esteem. I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. I hated everything about myself. The way I look, the way I am, the way I feel. I just wanted to be invisible. So I stopped speaking altogether. I became one of those students that would sit in the back of the classroom, just completely terrified that the teacher would ask them a question. I felt like I was trapped inside my own head, because everything I said or did would be judged. I was fading away. Then I somehow got the idea that maybe if I'm prettier, maybe I would be judged less. Then I would be more confident. So I stopped eating, and I wrote down every single calorie I had. I wanted to control everything. I guess I must have thought that if I controlled what I was eating, what I was doing, maybe I could control what was happening to me. But it didn't help. I just wanted to give up. At that point, I didn't want to live anymore. And for a while, this was the only thought that I had. I asked myself over and over again, what is happiness? I didn't even remember what it was like anymore. When was the last time I felt it? Will I ever feel it again? Every night I laid in bed crying, asking so many questions, and never finding the answer. It's terrible how much a death of someone dear to you can affect you. The worst thing was hiding everything inside me and not telling anyone. Even though I had a therapist in school, and my aunt was one too, I was just too scared to talk to them and tell them how I was feeling. I thought they would think that I was weak. I was always the person to keep everyone cheered up. How could I be sad? I was always the positive one, the light. I had to be strong, right? Except I wasn't. I was sad. I lost somebody that I loved so much, and I was completely lost. It's been 2 years now since that happened. I realized from his death how amazing he was, and how many opportunities I missed being with him. You never know when someone you love can leave, so you should cherish your time with them as if it would be their last day. Even though I can't see my loving grandfather, I know he's there. I know he's watching over me. Forgetting about it isn't going to work. Instead, remember them. Think of how amazing they were, and most importantly, forgive them. And forgive yourself. Everyone has a time to go, and it is not your fault for that. Don't hold on to their life. Simply let them go in peace. Accept the fact that they lived a great life and brought good feelings to you. That is the most important thing to remember, as it will help you accept what happened. Life is going to be hard, but tricky roads can lead to beautiful destinations. And no matter how hard it is, I won't give up, and neither should you. Thank you for sharing your inspiring story with us.